Welcome to the Sales and Marketing for Decorators podcast with me, John Mears, and this week I am joined once again by the 2018 Dulux Decorator of the Year. Did I get the year right this time?
Yeah, you got the year right.
Perfect. Alton's, no, we did Alton's Sexiest Man last week.
We had that like
Hampshire's Sexiest Man.
No. Hampshire's busiest decorator.
Hampshire's busiest decorator. You do not. Anyway, it's Trevor Mangan once more, everybody.
Yes, hello. Nice to be here again. Thanks for inviting me, John.
Thank you, mate. I should probably stop taking the mick out of you so much because I'd be struggling for episodes if you weren't here every week. So thank you very much.
Yeah, well, I've got nothing else. There's not a lot on the telly on when we record. This is there, so it's. I'm more than happy to help out.
Well, sometimes we have to cut it short so you can watch the football. But then again, you're a Southampton fan, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's not much fun watching Southampton anyway. So
no. Yeah, we're the only football team that are going to win the FA Cup and then get relegated in the same season.
Well, that'll be on Question of Sport in 20 years' time.
Yeah, exactly.
One to remember that.
Yeah.
Right. And
also, it's either talk to you, John, or sit indoors and talk to the missus. So.
Oh, you don't want to do that. No. Anyway. Right. What are we talking about today? So today we are going to talk about a little survey that I did and you helped with.
Yeah.
And it is what homeowners actually want from a painter and decorator. So to give everyone a bit of background on how we did this, I set up a survey using SurveyMonkey. If anyone ever wants to set up a survey, use SurveyMonkey. It's free. Asked some questions. I put it in a local Facebook group. You put it in a local Facebook group to you, didn't you? So we had different areas of the country. And I put together some questions to see, well, essentially, as I said, what homeowners actually want from a painter and decorator, and to see if it matches what we think it is. So what we'll do then, Trev, is we'll run through the questions and I can talk you through the results and stuff like that, and we'll rely on your fantastic wit and charm and charisma to fluff it out a bit, not fluff it out, to add some
entertainment.
Insight and entertainment. Yes, perfect.
Yeah, okay. No pressure then.
I tell you what, we're absolute pros at this.
Yeah.
One day
we're right up there now. Well, John, yeah. We could have started there, John, but no, you've put us right up there.
Right at the top, yeah. And then obviously you're doing hand gestures, which is perfect for the should we just crack on before Right. Question number one then, I asked, was how important is the standard of finish? Now, I gave multiple choice because I'm good. And so, how important is the standard of finish? Option number one, as long as the cutting in is okay, I'm happy. Option two, I would like a basic level of preparation, such as filling and smoothing of blemishes. And option three, I would like a flawless finish with all surfaces repaired, filled and sanded perfectly smooth. Now, the results...
Well, let John...
Go on.
I thought what we could do was, if I tell you what I think the results would be, and then you could actually give the proper results.
Oh,
what about that? That would be quite... that'd be a little bit more insightful, wouldn't it? And probably add a little bit of entertainment too.
Oh, I tell you what... If we plan these, we'd be dangerous. We'd be bloody good.
Yeah. If we planned these, they might be worth listening to.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what then. I'll tell you what I thought, because I put those 3 levels in. I put the 3 levels in as basically, as long as the cutting in's clean and there's no runs or drips, then happy. Basic level of prep, and then what I would suggest is what pretty much all decorators do,
exactly.
And they go for the flawless finish. Spend a lot of time on repairing and filling and sanding and everything like that. So they're the 3 levels. So what would you expect to see?
Yeah, I would. I mean, Ryan and I talk a lot about this on our podcast, and it's about the standard of. And I think because decorators always conscious of only being as good as their last job, they always want to put out the best job they possibly can do. Which I understand where they're coming from, but sometimes that's not what the customer's looking for. So it is very much, what. And I listened to your podcast today when you spoke to Sharon
Marshall.
Yeah, where she was. One I thought a brilliant question she asked her customer when she goes to see him is, what is their expectations? What do they actually expect to see at the end of the? I thought, well, that is a really good, that actually sets the level, doesn't it, of where you can be.
See, Trev, that's what a proper podcast guest does. They come in with boom, insightful, useful information like that. This is what you've got to live up to now.
yeah. But I just thought that was a really good question to ask the customer, because then you can find out where, what they actually expect, what their expectations are. So I'm going with the last one, that you try and do the best. You do the filling, as long as the price you supply reflects that. Sometimes it can't. So
so you would expect that your typical homeowner, they're hiring a decorator because they want that flawless finish. They want to see the decorator doing loads of prep, and I think that is what most decorators would think. And I think that's the way that decorators always push themselves to sort of separate themselves from the competition, is they focus very heavily on being a better decorator, achieving better and better finishes. So that was the most popular answer, with 55% of the vote, which throws up a big surprise for me, and that is that 45%, so every other person is not looking for
that
that level of finish that decorators are so keen and always offer. So it was an even split on the other two options. So 22.5%. Their idea of a decorator and what they want from a decorator is just they turn up, no prep, just put the paint on the walls, nice clean straight lines cutting in, no drips, no runs, done. Just literally change the colour of my wall, please. That's 22.5% of people are looking for that. And then the next 22.5% just want a basic level of prep. Fill in those little blemishes on the walls, smooth it out where you can, but essentially don't spend all day doing it, because that's not what's important to them.
Well, that goes back to my option now that I've started to offer, and we spoke about it, I think because we actually talked about it, is to offer 3 levels of quotes.
Yeah.
Basically, and it just proved that even that first question proves that might be the case, mightn't it?
Yeah, and I think one of the things you've got to remember is this question also, for me, it highlights the fact that I think most homeowners wouldn't know a very good decorating job from they've just got good cutting in skills. I don't think they'd know it, and I don't think when people come to visit their house and stuff like that, they won't be looking at the wall and going, oh my god, the decorator must have spent days filling and sanding that. Did he use a Festool? Did he use dustless sander?
But to notice that sort of level of finish, you really need to know what he looked like to start with.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
the only people that are going to notice that level of finish are other decorators.
Exactly. Even the homeowner wouldn't even notice, I wouldn't have thought.
Yeah.
Because by the time the sofa's pushed against the wall, the telly's in the corner of the room, there's not a great deal of the wall area left, is there?
Yeah. I think with a very minimal amount of prep, just the fact that a decorator has got better technique for actually applying the paint, they will cut in with straight lines, they'll put on enough coats so that it actually covers. You will get that clean, crisp look. A decorator can achieve that clean and crisp look that a homeowner, well, clearly half the homeowners want.
Yeah.
With very minimal extra effort. I think for those people who are not looking for that flawless finish, essentially they're just, as long as you're a bit better than they are at it, which is not hard to be better than DIYer, then they're going to be happy. So, yeah,
And also,
I like your option of offering 3 prices, and I think if people are worried that their reputation will take a hit because they're not doing flawless finishes every time, I don't see that being a problem, because I don't think people will notice the difference. I think a good decorator could do no prep and still get such a good finish that most homeowners and their friends would still be happy and recommend you. And you're probably more likely to get recommended because you've done it quicker and for less money.
Yeah. I honestly think you're right, because we spoke about it endlessly about, and I think we just get in that mindset that, we're only as good as our last job, and we need to make that the best we can. And sometimes you don't need, well, like you say, 50% of the time you don't need to.
Yeah, I think for me, a lot of it stems from essentially from when you start decorating. Let's say you go to college and everything like that, you are consistently rewarded on getting better at decorating. So the better a finish you can do and everything like that, the more you think you can start to earn. And at some point, every decorator will just lose sight of what's actually important to the customer. And you get so wrapped up in, I've got to deliver an absolutely perfect job all the time. And really, the fact that that's not what half of your customers want is actually a bad thing. That's, a proper business is all about serving the customers.
Exactly.
Giving the customer what they want.
What they want.
Yeah, and half the customers don't want you spending 2 or 3 days on preparation. What they want is you to come in, do a nice clean job,
and get out.
Yeah. and if you're not catering to those people, if you're doing what they are clearly seeing as excessive prep, then really they're less likely to recommend you, because although they'll be happy with the finish, they're not going to be so happy on the other side of it, which is
because they think they're paying for it.
Exactly. Yeah, they think they're paying over the odds. They're paying for something that they don't really want.
Yeah. I mean, this is why when I've started also to go through and sit down with the customer and ask them, actually sit down and get a spec together as to what they want.
Yeah.
Do you want 2 coats on the ceiling? Do you want 2 coats on the wall? Not only does it 9 times out of 10 they do, but it also sort of then they say, oh right, we are getting 2 coats. We are getting 2 coats on the, and it makes them think about the actual job they're getting. So it does build the value as well.
100%. I think that's pretty comprehensive for question 1.
Yes, I think we've done very well there.
Should we crack on? I think you've nailed it. You've absolutely nailed it. Right, question number 2. How long are you happy to wait for a decorator to start the work? 4 options this time. Up to 1 month, up to 3 months, up to 6 months, up to 12 months. Right then, Big Trev.
Well,
what do you reckon?
I've found that the sweet spot is probably about 3 months. Anything more than that, and they sort of get impatient, and unless they are a regular customer that know what you've done and are prepared to wait. And to be honest, if they're a regular customer that you've used before, that you've worked with before and you get on with, they shouldn't really have to wait 3 months, because I would try and squeeze them in a little bit. I'd give them a bit more preferential treatment. I don't know whether that's right or wrong, but I would try and squeeze them in, because I think they deserve it for their loyalty.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. For me, I put this out a couple of times on social media and stuff, and I before I put this out, I thought about 3 months would be there. I do know a lot of decorators that can be booked up a year in advance, sometimes more, on residential work. And I know if you get the right type of regular customers, sometimes they'll just say, you'll do some work for them and they'll go, stick it in the diary to do 2 weeks for us next February or something like that, and they'll book you that ahead because it's almost like scheduled maintenance. So I think you will find a lot of decorators will find some of their regular clients will be happy to wait a long time, but this is not really what the question was for. The question was aimed at basically saying, okay, you're a homeowner, you wake up one morning and you decide, I want to get some decorating done. You start looking for your colours and stuff like that. You ring a decorator and find out when they can get you booked in. How long are you willing to wait? Do you want the results?
Yeah, what are they?
So 37.5% of people are only willing to wait up to 1 month, which was a lot, to be honest.
Yeah.
I didn't expect, 4 out of 10 people.
Third, isn't it?
Yeah, just over a third.
Yeah.
Not willing to wait more than a month to get a decorator in. 60% was up to 3 months. So yeah, you were right on that. That is around the sweet spot. We then had 2.5% up to 6 months, and nobody said they'd wait up to a year in the survey. So up to 3 months is the sweet spot. 60% of people will wait up to 3 months. Up to 1 month, though, 37.5%. I thought that was an interesting statistic. I don't know. Looking at the people that were surveyed, so this is the people that the questions that were put to are not just people who historically use decorators. This is a cross section of everybody. So this will include people that currently do it themselves, or currently get friends to do it, or whatever their situation is, or currently just don't do it. So some of them would just think, well, maybe if they can't turn up and do it in a month, I'll do it myself, or I'll just keep ringing around until I find someone that can squeeze me in within a month. I don't, you don't know what their thinking is, but realistically, after 3 months, it seems that's it. There's a huge drop off. So as we said, you can get some regular customers who'll book you in further, but once you get to 3 months, new people ringing you up and asking for you to do some decorating, your chances of getting it, if you're fully booked for the next 3 months, goes down rapidly. And that's something that you've seen? If you can't fit someone in 3 months, they tend to go, I'll ring you back.
This was my issue with Checker Trade when going back years, not recently because it's really got rubbish recently, but 3 or 4 years ago, I started back with Checker Trade, and within no time I was booked up with work, sort of 6 months, and then as soon as you told, someone from Checker Trade would ring up, sorry, I can't do it for 6 months. Oh, okay, I'll find someone else. So then I sort of thought that all the money I was paying Checker Trade was wasted because it was just leads I was turning away. And I thought, it wasn't. It was, in fact, at that time, Checker Trade was sort of like too good for me. But I know other decorators that actually will leave a week a month. So they won't actually. Out of every month, they'll book up 3 weeks, but leave a week spare.
Yeah.
So
and that's just for in case the golden deal comes up, or a regular client pops up and you want to give him that preferential treatment.
Yeah, and if not, you can then move that cut the next customer a week forward. So it looks like you do. You can start a week early. Yeah, but I think that's a really good idea. Because it gives you that flexibility to take on a decent job if it comes in. You know what we're like. If we're busy, we'll not overprice it, but make it worth our while. And if you can fit it in, then brilliant. Well, I think that's a really good idea. I
think that works well because we're looking at this. We've got nearly 40% of people are only willing to wait up to 1 month. Now, I think if I rang the 3 or 4 decorators in my town, I think I would really struggle to get one of them to start work within a month. So if you are that decorator who leaves a week free, it's one of those where you can go, all right, well, I'm going to price this high, and if I get it, I get it. If not, who cares? I'll just move the next job forward a week. Yeah. But because all of a sudden you've become the only decorator in town who can do what they want, so you can charge a premium. And those jobs might be really, really worth your while.
And also, John, with that, it's the same old thing, isn't it? You don't know who you're working for. You don't know who they know.
Yeah.
You know,
they might turn into one of those customers who goes, right, just, book me in for 3 weeks work next February or whatever. And we'll just do some regular stuff with you. And then all of a sudden you've got a customer who pays good money because you priced it high, you priced it as a premium on the first job, and now you've got a regular customer who's always going to be paying higher. So that sounds like a good way to do things. I think it'll make people a little bit nervous leaving that time free in their calendar, but as you say, you can just move jobs forwards, and that's going to work for a lot of customers, isn't it? And they're going to think, oh, brilliant, I'm getting this work done even sooner. Fantastic. It's an extra bit of bonus for them. Or if there's 2 of you, you can still start that job and then the other person can go there for a week. It's easy. I just think it's really good to keep that flexibility in your schedule. So you're going to start doing that? Are you thinking about doing that?
No, Well, I've got these youngsters starting with me, so I do think it'd be a good idea. I think even if I get him there to start him doing the prep, then I think it's a great idea. I really do.
Well, this is another good point, actually. So what happens when you get booked up to 3 months? That then brings on the question: do you start taking on staff? Because if you want to keep getting customers, then essentially you need to start being able to do more work within the next 3 months. So staffing up is one way to do that. And I think if you've committed to something like Checker Trade or anything with like a 12-month marketing contract, essentially, then you owe it to yourself to look at staffing options and trying to squeeze some more out of it. Otherwise, as you said, you signed up to Checker Trade and you didn't use it for the last 6 months of the contract. That's a whole lot of wasted money. Of course, there's other things you can do with your marketing, Facebook ads or standard newspaper ads or anything like that. You can turn them on and off when you need them. But a lot of things you have to commit to several months worth of advertising. So it's a difficult one. You've got to either be very careful with the marketing and advertising you do, or you've got to be prepared to look at taking on staff.
I would have thought, like you say, John, as soon as you get booked up for 3 months, then maybe to keep that flow of leads coming in, that it might be, like you say, worth looking at taking someone on so that you can then you've basically got another person that can do 3 months worth of work. So like you say, that might be the right option.
You can use this. I told you about. I spoke with Simon Goddard from Alliance Workforce, and they are basically they supply decorators. That's all they do. So you can basically, if you needed a decorator to come and do a job for you, come and help you on a project. You ring them up and say, I'm in Milton Keynes and I need a decorator to start in 2 days' time. Can you get one? They've got a huge database of decorators, and they just go and they find someone in that area that can jump on and help you, and you pay them a flat hourly rate, and you use them when you need them and give them back when you don't.
But there's always a thing with agency work, isn't there? Agency workers. How do you know you're getting a decent person?
Well, obviously there are checks in place and stuff like that, and with like Alliance, they look for qualifications, and a lot of people they'll recommend have already done work for them and stuff like that. And as a specialist company, they that's something that I'm sure that they can deliver on. But that aside, then look at the first 2 questions from this. Some people just want you to start within a month, and they don't care about prep. So you could almost put any old tosher on those jobs. Take your slice. It's not going to affect your reputation or anything like that, because the end customer is still getting what they want. You're not asking for a top level 10 out of 10 decorator. You could get one who's only a 6 out of 10 decorator, and they're still going to deliver a finish that is up to the standards of what the customer wants. And all you need to do is just keep an eye on it and go around and do the snags or something like that.
Well, when you say that, really, all they need to be is clean, tidy, and polite, isn't it?
Yeah. And you can sort of fend these things off early, so you get the call through, and you say, look, I'm personally booked up for the next 3 months, but I can send round one of my boys, I can send round one of my guys, they'll do it. And if they're like, no, we're very precious about the finish, we want you, then you go, okay, well, I'm very sorry. But if they go, oh yeah, do you know what, we just want it done, send round one of your guys, and you can go, all right, well, I'll send round one of the guys, I'll do the snagging and stuff, so I'm sure it'll be up to standard. Away you go. They know what they're getting, they know what they're expecting. But
then going back to the 3 levels of quotes, then you know from that which person to send round, don't you?
Yeah.
So if they've gone for the highest, if they've gone for the gold standard, then they obviously want you to do it or some of your capabilities. But if they've gone for like the bronze, then send you know that you could actually hire someone or get someone in to do that work for you.
Yeah, once you've done a couple of jobs, I mean, for you got your new chap that you've taken on.
Yeah,
I think the jobs that you pitch as the bronze service, where it is just no real prep required, just clean cutting in, no drips and stuff like that. If you get someone sign up for a bronze job, you could send him round. He could do it, and at the same time, you're on there doing the Rolls-Royce gold standard. And away you get. You could hire a couple of people, and you just cherry pick the jobs for
the
decorator and their capabilities. Yeah, and you just go, right, this week you're at that job because Mrs. Jones is half blind and deaf and be fine. This customer just wants speed over quality finish. So get in there, get the job done, be clean, tidy, polite, and away you go.
I think you're right. I think sometimes we need to start looking at what we do as more of a business than as a job. You know,
I mean, if you look at it, so what was it? So it was 22.5% don't want you to do any prep, and nearly 40% want you to do it in less than a month. So you could get an apprentice on sod all money who is going to be able to fulfill those jobs for you. You could make a little cut on it. They're an apprentice, they're learning, you're keeping an eye on them, you can check in on them, and at the same time you're doing the breadwinner, the big money jobs where a flawless finish is required. You're serving twice as many customers, so you're getting twice as many people happy, and each customer is getting the level of finish they actually want.
And like you say, and you are giving the customer what they want and not what you think they want.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, blimey, we're doing well here. I didn't think we'd be able to talk this much about it, but we're.
Thanks, John. Turns out you're not as stupid as you look.
I forget just how wonderful and interesting you are.
Thanks, John. Yeah.
Dear.
Oh, it's the end of a beautiful relationship.
You've put me off now. Question 3. Right, here we go. You'll like this one. Question number 3. I'm asking homeowners this. Imagine a standard size living room in an average 3-bed house. You ask the decorator to do basic prep, paint all 4 walls, the ceiling and all the woodwork, including the doors. How long would you expect this to take them? So basically we're looking at Mrs. Jones's front room, all the walls, all the woodwork and the ceiling. How long do you think your average homeowner reckons that should take a decorator?
Well, you get these bloody £80 a day merchants, don't you? That, I'll turn up and get it done. But I reckon they're looking. So we're asking what they think, not what I think. What they think.
Exactly. The options I've given was 1 day, 2 to 3 days, 4 to 5 days, 6 days or more.
I reckon 2 to 3.
Mm-hmm. And how long would it take you?
I
What do you think is a reasonable
I reckon
time?
two maybe 2 and a little bit, maybe 2 and a couple of hours. But I reckon you should better get it. You know, depending on the time of year and drying times and all that, I reckon two and a couple of hours.
2 coats on 4 walls.
Yeah.
It's always a oneer on the ceiling, isn't it?
So I've heard. Yeah, apparently. I don't know.
Bit of woodwork, bit of basic prep, bosh. Yeah, 3 days. Right. So, with 5% of the vote was 1 day. I think we can disregard that person. I don't know.
Yeah.
Who's thinking you can do that? So 2 to 3 days was the outright winner with 60% of the votes. So it seems people have a reasonable grasp of how long a job should take. 60% though, so 40% of people did think it would take longer. 27.5% thought it would be a 4 to 5 day job. 7.5% thought it would be a 6+ day job. They'd be nice ones to work on.
Yeah, they would, wouldn't they? They've obviously tried it themselves.
Well, I think they're out there, and you know, you see some decorators on Instagram. The one that springs to mind is Nick Sam Rushmore.
Yeah.
He always makes a point of, he prices his jobs high, and he prices them to spend extra time on them because he wants to offer that proper top level finish. So it proves, you know, there are customers out there who would allow you to take 6 or more days to paint their front room because clearly they're looking for a sublime finish. So it's good to see that there is a spread, but yeah, typically people are looking 2 to 3 days. They want you in and out job done, and I think that's about what it's going to take for most people, isn't it? Unless there's an obscene amount of prep is required, but this is just on the premise that it's basic prep and 2 coats all over.
Yeah.
Okay, well that then led on to question 4. So imagining the same room from question 3. How much would you be prepared to pay for this service? So I gave options of up to £100, £100 to £250, £250 to £500, £500 to £1,000, and £1,000 plus. So 2 to 3 days work, doing Mrs. Jones's living room. What do you think
I'd be 500 to 1,000.
You'd be 500 to 1,000.
Yeah, I think that'd be 300 to 500.
Okay. You're quite good at this, aren't you? Yeah, so most popular answer was 250 to 500 pounds, and that was 50% of the vote. So yeah, for those people that thought it would take 3 days, 3 days, 500 quid, you're pushing it there. Well, 3 days, 250 quid, you it's not really doable. So, I mean, if we look at typical day rates of, let's say, 160 to 200 quid, if you're doing the job in 2 days and the average person is going to be paying you, it seems, about £400 they're expecting to pay, then yeah, you know, 2.5 days, you can earn a decent day rate wage there, plus your materials and bits and bobs on top of that. So yeah, I think with any question like this, people always sort of underdo it, don't they? They might say 250 to 500 quid is what they're expecting to pay, but if the decorator puts a quote in at 650, 700 quid, then they'll probably go, okay, it's a bit more than I thought, but maybe I underestimated the amount of work involved. And
you very rarely pay what you expect to pay, do you?
Yeah, exactly. There's what you expect, there's what you want to pay, and then there's what you actually end up paying. 5% said up to 100 quid. I'm going to assume that 5% of people was the same 5% of people who thought it could be done in a day as well. So we'll disregard that.
Disregard that.
100 to 250 quid, 27.5%. So really, I mean, even if you go to the upper end of that at 250 quid, you've got to be in and out in a day, haven't you, to earn any money there? So,
and this is what we were speaking about before we start recording this. Is I think this is quite controversial with decorators, but I think there's a lot to be said for pre-qualifying your appointments.
Yeah.
Just to start price conditioning them and saying, look, my average lounge is £600. Is that the sort of budget you're working to? And just to basically eliminate the tire kickers, because do you really want to be spending? A lot of decorators say, oh well, I'll go out there regardless, and I'll try and bring them up to where I need to be. But are they ever going to have that sort of money when they got the option of doing it themselves?
Yeah, this is it. I know I've been speaking to several decorators about this, and a lot of decorators seem to be more and more comfortable giving ballpark figures.
Yeah.
Over just using video, photos, that sort of thing, and doing it via Facebook Messenger or WhatsApp or whatever it might be. And I think everybody should be looking to do it as part of, as you say, your pre-qualification. You can do it by phone and you can ask questions, you can have a chat with them and stuff like that. But people get really nervous about giving ballpark and giving estimates and stuff like that, because they think, oh, you're going to turn up and then it's twice as much work, and the homeowner's going to try and hold you to what you said when you looked at the photos. But I think you just got to take the rough with the smooth. The people that are going to hold you to prices that you estimated, and you'll be quite clear they're ballpark estimates. Yeah. And you try and hold you to those figures. You don't really want to be working for those customers anyway.
No, exactly. And until you've started the job, it's not a problem anyway, is it?
Yeah.
Until you've actually bought paint and put paint on the walls, and if you're starting a job and you're not comfortable with it in the first place, then you've only got yourself to blame, really.
Yeah,
I
think it's a service that, well, the people that I know are already offering it, and they'll give ballparks from photos and asking the homeowner to do some basic measurements for them.
Yeah,
they're making a killing on it, because
I did
they can do 10 times as many quotes in an evening.
Yeah, I did one earlier in the year.
Yeah.
It was in Vauxhall. It was an apartment that the customer had bought. It was her first apartment. £675,000 it was.
Yeah.
I got the plans off online because it was up for sale. So I got the plans from, I think it was Rightmove or whatever. But I found the dimensions so I could actually price it from the plans. We did a video call. Went round there. I think my price was about $6,500. And it turns out the most you had to spend on decorating was £1,000. And you think, I could have wasted all my time going there to Vauxhall, parking, diesel. What's that? It's got to be 3 hours of my time to get there and get back. And we did it over a video call. And I thought, oh well, 20 minutes of my time, and probably about 20 minutes doing a quote for her. So
and this is it.
For an hour's work. And you think, if I'd have actually had to physically go there, I would have been really fed up.
Yeah, and so many people would have just gone there that you'd get the quote through and you'd be like, oh, here we go, new flat or whatever it is, 600 grand, just moved in. You'd be driving down there, rubbing your hands together for the entire hour-long drive, get there, realise you're on completely different pages.
Yeah,
you'd be fuming for the entire drive back. You wasted 3 hours of your life for something which, because you didn't pre-qualify it properly. I was sat here with a coffee, and like I say, 20 minutes of a time talking to her. She was a pleasant enough person, and like 20 minutes to put the quote together. So less than an hour, it was all sorted out, and I didn't beat myself up over it. Just moved on. Whereas, like you say, if I'd have invested all that time and energy going there, it would have been a completely different, outcome. Yeah, again, it's focusing on what the customer wants, not what you want and not what you think is best for the customer. You might think that the customer needs a very accurate quotation straight away, but in the majority of cases, I would argue that the customer wants a ballpark figure quickly so that they can establish that they're on the right page, and then they won't feel guilty about having invited you round to their home and wasted 2 hours of your time, only to find out that you asked for $6,000 and they thought it was going to be $1,000.
Yeah. And you say that, but I've actually had a customer say that to me. I went to see a Hall Stairs and Landing, and exactly the things I said. Well, why? You've used Decorator before. Oh yeah. I said, well, why have you not? Why is he not quoted for this? Oh well, we asked him to quote for our master bedroom, and we didn't have it done in the end, and we didn't think that we could invite him round to price for the Hall Stairs and Landing because we felt bad that we hadn't given him the job.
Yeah.
We think they've made decisions about the decorator that he would probably 9 times out of 10 would be more than happy to come around and price the Hall Stairs and Landing, but they just felt bad about it. Yeah. Well, it's funny how customers work.
Yeah, and if that decorator that decorator more than likely probably could have quoted it.
Yeah,
just from pictures and videos, because they'll remember the general condition of what the house was like. They'll know if the whole thing's going to need replastering. They're going to turn up, it's going to be a nightmare. So they'd probably be able to give a very accurate quote just from pictures. And if they'd have done that, yes, they might not have got that one, but they'd have certainly got a call for the one that you ended up getting.
Yeah. No, you're right. It is strange the way they work. It really is. But yeah.
Okay. Question 5 then, and this was the last question. You'll be pleased to know.
What, me or the listeners?
You and the listeners. I know I do bore you. I do talk a lot, but I like this sort of stuff. Right, question 5. Finally, what one thing would make you more likely to hire a painter and decorator in future? And again, it's worth reminding everyone that this question was posed to just a pure cross-section of people. It wasn't people who have already hired decorators. This is people who have hired decorators, haven't hired decorators, always do DIY, never do any decorating. So what do you think the common things that people were coming up with when they were asked what would make them more likely to hire a painter and decorator in future?
Well, it's funny you should say this, because I put the same sort of question on a Facebook group local to me, which was I was trying to find out what sort of experiences they'd had. This was, like I say, cross section of people. When they were trying to hire, I put tradesmen. What was their big issue with tradesmen? And the number one thing that came back was poor communication, not returning phone calls.
Really?
Phone them up and then or poor communication, not turning up when they say they will, not returning phone calls, not returning emails, coming to do a quote but then not supplying a quote. So just generally, lack of, communication.
Stuff like that is what is a big thing that I think separates the big boys. Let's look at the other people that have to come into your home. So a recent example for me would be like British Gas or something like that. They've got to come in and have a look. When you book an appointment with them, number one, you can book appointments online with most of these larger companies. You get texts on the day when they're going to come round saying, oh, your engineer Keith is going to be with you between 11 and 12 o'clock. It's like receiving a parcel, isn't it? You know exactly when they're going to turn up, who they are, and those little bits of communication make a massive difference. And I know there's someone, a local tradesman to me, a plumber, who does exactly the same thing. He'll text you every morning and just say, right, I will be with you between 9 and 9:30 or something like that, and just constantly keep you updated with what they're doing, where they are, and stuff like that, so that you can keep going about your daily routine and not hang around waiting for people and not thinking, what they've been doing today. And Yeah, those basic bits of communication. It's so easy nowadays to keep on top of it. I know everyone's busy, but it's 30 seconds to pull your phone out, send a text or whatever.
I tell you what I do as well is when I've finished talking to a customer, I send them a confirmation email about the appointment, just outlining what time I'm turning up, what date I'm turning up.
Yeah.
If they, we all lead busy lives. If circumstances change, please let me know. And if things change for me, I'll let you know. Send them that email, and then also I send them a video email. And I know everybody. This is a podcast in itself, but you need to get on video. You need to start getting used to sitting in front of a video camera and talking to a video, because it's not going to go away. And the only way in the future you're going to be able to get business is by being comfortable in front of a camera. Yeah. And, and I use this thing called Hippo something or other, but it's somewhere where you can sit with a webcam and just record a video. And I record a video saying, thank you so much for, inviting me around to do the quote. I'll be around at such and such. Any questions, give me a call. And it doesn't really matter what you say. It just gives them they can see you. So when you turn up on their doorstep, they recognize you. So it's not the first time they've seen you. So you've broken that ice, and that people love that. It's not a stranger. Then you're not a stranger turn up on their doorstep. They know who you are. They recognize you.
Yeah, video is massive, and I know people are uncomfortable in front of camera and stuff, but honestly, you've got to fight through it. It doesn't take as long as you'd expect. A couple of weeks of trying it, and you will be more than comfortable.
It's funny you should say that. We both struggle, because I know we spoke about it. We both don't enjoy it. Yeah. I did a live into my Facebook group on Sunday evening, and I was there from 6 o'clock. I was going to go live at 6 o'clock. It took me to 6:37 to go live, and I was going to go live at 6:30, and then it went past 6:32. I'm going to do it 6:33, and then it got to, come on, don't be, 6:37. I got there and I did it. So it's not pleasant and it's not enjoyable, but just do it. Do it.
You get used to it, and as a way to just offer complete, and here's a corporate term for you, customer delight.
Oh, that's a new one. Oh, customer delight.
You can have that one.
What's customer delight now then?
These are like job titles nowadays. You can be head of customer delight, head of customer experience, that sort of thing.
So what's customer delight then?
Well, customer delight in this case would be sending them a video is something that will delight the customer. They won't be expecting it, and they'll go, wow, this is brilliant. And the example that always springs to mind for me is when I sent one of my old cars into a garage. It was a VW actually, and it was when they had that massive scandal with the emissions. And
emissions,
stuff like that. So I sent that off to them. It was the first time it had gone to a proper VW garage, and they sent me a video at about 3 o'clock. They picked up the car, which was a nice one.
Oh, I remember you saying this,
and then they sent me a video of underneath my car. This guy just started talking through. He goes, right, we've done all your emissions and everything, and we've given it a once over for you. So here's basically what the underside of your car looks like. And he went round the 4 tyres and said, so these 2 tyres are fine. This one will be an advisory quite soon, so keep an eye on that. Here's some bits and bobs that you need to be aware of. Your brake pads are everything. And it was probably, a 1-minute video. And he took me through all these sort of key points within my car. Now, of course, there were a couple of things that they were trying to sell to me at this point. They were going to say, well, if you want us to fix this, it's 200 quid. But it was, it was very easy for me to go, oh, no, not right now. Don't worry. If it doesn't need to be done, whatever. Yeah. But I was not expecting that. I just thought I would get a phone call from a bloke called Dave who'd go, your car's ready. It's all sorted. But no, I got a video come through saying, right, we've completed XYZ work. Here's some other bits to make you aware of. If you want us to do the work, just respond to this email. If not, we will get one of our guys to drop it off to you. And I was like, that's superb. I mean, I know this was sort of borne out the fact that they were in the middle of a massive emissions scandal. And then they also put some like a nice pack of cleaning products and stuff like that in the car as well. Those
Yeah.
auto gleam things or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was, yes, they did that as part of trying to win everyone back over after the emissions scandal. But it proved the point that if you can add things like that, and video is so powerful, if you can add video into any part of your sales and customer service process, you're going to stand out against everyone else, and you're just going to get so much more work and better work. It's got to be worth doing for anyone in any business.
The good thing is, people are so frightened of actually sitting in front of a video camera. If you do it now, you're going to be streets ahead of people when they finally realise, shit, we should be doing this.
Yeah.
And you're going to be way ahead. You're going to be so much more confident in front of the camera that, you know, you'll blow them away. And the good thing is, you've only got to be a little bit better than everybody around you to make a big difference. Well,
this is it. And I tell you what's a big favourite of mine at the moment, and it's a nice little stepping stone if people don't want to get on the camera. You talked about texting customers and things like that. I think that's important. Even if you just send a confirmation text after your phone call or something like that, people are quite likely to save your phone number if they get a text from you. So that's a good point, because it means that they're more likely to get back in contact with you if something goes wrong. They've got no excuses, have they? They've got your number saved. But voice messages, I think, are getting more and more popular. I'm getting a lot more of them from people, and it's born out of the fact that people are busy and they can't be bothered to write a big long text message, so they just want to hold the button, speak the message, job done, send a voice message. And I like doing them because you always get a warm response when anyone receives a voice message from you. They're always way more engaged in what you've just said. They're easier and quicker for you to do, and again, it's another thing, like you said, about putting your face on camera helps homeowners know who you are, and they know who they're expecting. Even just hearing your voice and getting a voice message from someone, you immediately feel a bit more of a connection with that person. You know them; they're not just it's not just someone typing away on a phone. At least you know they are a human, they're a proper person, and it's just that next level of being more personal, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, basically, what you've got to do the stuff that other people aren't doing, and other people aren't doing video because it's not comfortable. So do video. You know, don't go outside your comfort zone for a bit, and make yourself feel uncomfortable. It'll be worth it.
Yeah, 100%. We went a little bit off track. What was the one thing that would make you more likely to hire a painter and decorator?
We've got the answers yet, have we?
No, we haven't. So people were looking at things. Okay, so what is going to make them more likely to hire a painter and decorator? What do they look for? So recommended was up there. Loads of people asking for that. Friendly, honest, trustworthy, which again is sort of an extension of that. Seeing examples of their work online and testimonials was another big one. Some of the more interesting ones I found, we talked about this earlier, so clear pricing structure, so I don't have to ask. Difficult, but it can show you sort of the way customers' minds are leaning. A rough guide on pricing, so I know I'm likely to be able to afford their quote and won't waste their time. Again, so that goes back to what we were talking about earlier. People that want could be a quick ballpark figure.
Which could be a simple thing that I've got on my website, which is just a blog and just give you room sizes with rough ballpark figures. And it is not. I've done a bedroom, a dining room, a kitchen, a bathroom, and a lounge, I think, with rough sizes and rough prices. Don't be frightened. You're not going to be held to it, but it does give your customer a little bit more confidence when they're looking to choose you.
When people don't put their prices or don't make their prices available, the natural thing for everyone to think is they must be really bloody expensive, and that's not always the case.
But it goes back to that thing, doesn't it? If you've got to ask the price, you can't afford it. It's basically that, isn't it? It's the customer deserves to know what they're going to pay. really.
Yeah, and I think a lot of work just goes not even getting a phone call, because people will go onto a decorator's website and go, all right, can I find some rough guide pricing here before I get in touch with them? And if they can't, then they don't get in contact. And the closest thing I know about this is it wasn't too long ago, after a conversation with you, actually, I was looking at coaches to see if I could get someone to do some
Yeah.
personal coaching for me. And I had a good hunt around online, and you cannot find prices. I found one person who was offering it was about 400 quid for X amount of hours. And if I'm going to do it, I will go with that person, because they're the only person who put their price on. Now, it might be if I'd have called all these other coaches, some of them might have said, oh, yeah, flexible hours, 50 quid an hour or something like that. Some of them might have been 20 grand. I don't know. So, and I would never call them, because I don't want to call someone up and go, oh, yeah, I was thinking about getting some coaching. They go, oh, yeah, prices start from £10,000. I'd be like, oh, no, I was more like 100 quid to 500 quid was about what I was looking for.
Yeah, and also you feel embarrassed, don't you?
Yeah. So you make one call and you wouldn't call anyone else. So the only person I will call is someone who's put some clear pricing on their website. And even if the website just said prices starting from 250
you got an
quid
idea,
or something like that.
Yeah.
If it and if someone wants to be real high end and they put prices starting from 20 grand, I go, all right, well, that's clearly not for me. There's no point me calling them and wasting any time here.
I think what we lose track of as decorators, or is put yourself in the customer. If you were the customer, what would you be looking for?
Yeah.
And it's very hard. It's very hard for decorators, because we do it day in, day out. And we've had this conversation before, John, where you go into a customer's house, you turn the house upside down, you do your job and you leave. And for you, it's stuff you do day in, week in, week out. But for a customer, it's maybe once in a sort of 2, 3, 4, 5 year occurrence. To them, it's a big deal. And for you to be able to put yourself in their shoes is something. It's a good quality, and you need to be doing that.
Yeah, I tell you something. There's a rule in sales, and I can't remember the percentage, but it's ludicrously high. The amount of people who go with the first person that gives them a quote, the first person to answer the phone. I'm talking like 70 to 90%. It's something silly like that. People just go with the first person they get a price from, and I think part of a lot of the responses on here is they want them to be recommended and stuff like that. And I think that a lot of that is born out of the fact that because you can't find prices online for a decorator or anything like that. If I wanted to hire a decorator tonight, if I started searching and I just got it in my head at this point, I want to hire a decorator, and I start searching on a few web pages. If I found one person that said, here's the pricing structure, I am 70 to 90%. I'm very, very likely to just go with that person. Whereas because I won't find that, that's when I'll start talking to people I know. And I won't call a decorator until I've spoken to a few friends. And at that point, I'm going, oh, and how much is a decorator? What should I be expecting to pay and stuff like that? So essentially, you've got other people who are doing your pricing for you. Because they're going to be like, well, I hired one and it cost me £1,000 for a week's work or something like that. Okay, well, yeah, that's not helping anyone. And this delays the whole.
You're right.
It delays the whole process. Sometimes when you want to buy something, you just want to do it there and then, and you get caught up excited with it. And if you find someone online, then a lot of time you won't even bother comparing prices.
Well, it's the Amazon culture, isn't it now, John? It's the Amazon way of working, isn't it?
Yeah.
I need to know, I need to do it, and I need to do it now. I need to get it sorted out now.
Sometimes I'll buy something off Amazon and it'll arrive like 12 hours later the next day. And then I'll get it, I'll open it, and I'll go, do you know what? I didn't even look anywhere else online to see if I could find this product cheaper. I didn't consider it. I didn't care. If I want to buy something, I just open the Amazon app and it's there the next day. and I just do that. As long as it's not ludicrously more expensive than I was expecting it to be, I won't shop around. No. And I think a lot of people are like that. And it's moving more and more to that. Like I said, the whole Amazon movement and everything. People just want to go, what's the price? All right, yeah, I'll have it. Fine. Done.
Yeah. If it's round about what you're thinking it should be, then yeah. So I don't think there's anything. You don't be frightened to put your prices up. It's and like I say, you can. I like the idea of a from. Yeah. Because you can do a from, and you still do your 3 levels of pricing as well.
Yeah, it's from £100, but no one pays £100. It's actually about £5,000 for me to paint your living room. But
but it gives them a starting place, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, I think that's a good way to do it. Yeah, prices for living rooms from £500 or whatever you want it to be, or just put some ballparks in there, because I think you could get a lot of business with people just not even shopping around. They'll just look, they'll go, oh, this person's putting their prices up there. That looks reasonable to me. I'm happy to spend that. And before they know it, they booked you in. They've not even looked at anyone else.
Yeah, I think the days of being a bit sort of cagey and a bit secret about your prices are gone. You need to be more open now, because if you're not, I guarantee someone near you will be, and you'll be losing out.
Well, you look at other industries. The industries like buying a new car or buying a second-hand car, just buying a car used to be one of those things that it was an ordeal. When you want to buy a new car, you'd spend a couple of weeks flicking through Auto Trader, trying to find out what's a good price. You'd then be going around garages, and you'd go to the garage expecting to have to negotiate and do all of this and stuff like that. And now you can just buy cars online with your card, and they deliver it to you like the next day, Kazoo or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
And clearly, there's a huge market for this, because people don't want to go through the hassle. They're happy to pay probably another few £100 on top of what they could pay. You could go shopping around all the garages and start negotiating, and you probably get a better. In fact, you almost certainly would get a better price. Yeah. Or you could just go on an app on your phone, buy it, it turns up at your door. Yeah, you probably pay an extra £500 for it. But like I said, people just don't care that much. They want the convenience. They want it there, then. They don't want to shop around.
And they want to get it sorted out.
They want it sorted and done. And if you can do it with buying used cars without even looking at them, surely you can put it in other industries like this.
Yeah. We just need to be a bit smarter, I think. And, not it's no smoke and mirrors. Just be honest and just get out there. And once you start doing it, other people might think, oh, hang on a minute, I've got to catch up.
Yeah, this is it. Definitely. Okay. I think we've done well there, mate.
I think we did. I think we've put the world to rights, really. I think we have. Hopefully you've learned something, and we've been able to help you with a few bits and pieces there.
It's not often that people come away from one of our conversations having learned something, but
don't stick that label on it. I wouldn't go that far.
I'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah, you may. Yeah. Put it as a warning. You may learn something.
Oh, hang on. The recording's saying 30 minutes. We've been going more than 30 minutes, haven't we?
Yeah. I've got an hour and 6.
Jesus. I hope it's all recorded.
What have you done? Well, I've recorded the audio, if nothing else.
Oh, good. All right. Well, between us, ever the professionals.
You might hear this, or you might not.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, Trev, where can we find more from you? Where can we get more trouble?
Right. Well, I'm giving away a free spreadsheet at the moment, so I've got a link to that on our Facebook group, Owning a Decorating Business. So come on over and join that Facebook group, and you'll find a link to the free spreadsheet, which is basically a spreadsheet for timing yourself and putting your quotes together. So it sort of makes quoting a real piece of cake. And also
for pricing, isn't it? It helps you price by the meter.
Yeah.
You can price faster, more accurately. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. Loads of people have been downloaded it, haven't they? So it's really
we've had nearly 1,000 downloads. So I'm really impressed with that. Thank you very much. But it's really the only way to price. If you can't, you need to time yourself, sort out your meterage, none of this standing around in the middle of the room and sort of sucking your teeth and guessing it. Just do it properly. And
this is
so,
the
yeah,
spreadsheet that takes the guesswork out of it, and it's the spreadsheet you've been using for years, isn't it? So basically, you're just giving away your pricing secrets. So
but I mean, like I say, I spoke to you, I spoke to a few other people, and I've just realised that there is a little
other people. You got other friends.
Well, yeah. Well, I say other people. I say Ryan, really. No one else.
All right, that's all right.
And he don't like me. But yeah, and also Insta at TJ Decorating, and also painting decorating tips by TJ on YouTube. So that's the three main places.
Super. And if you want any more from me, you can go to my website, jmears.co.uk/ebook. Get a free copy of my latest ebook, which is 7 marketing secrets guaranteed to help grow your painting and decorating business. It's a free download. Trev, did I just cut you off? Was there something else you wanted to say?
No. I was just going to say thank you for having me on your show again. And hopefully it's been a bit helpful for everybody that's listened.
I hope so. Yeah, I think we've done all right there. And yeah, I will see you again soon. Rope you in for another podcast.
Absolutely, more than happy
for listening. Goodbye.
Cheers. Thank you.